Yeah.
Just it's very earth friendly and environment
Yeah, there
friendly.
used to be whole
Yeah.
stalls in Calcutta making those cups and so on. I don't know, I haven't been to Calcutta for a while. But yeah, I loved that too, that you could go and have your cup. But yes, that's the caste thing. But you wouldn't want to drink out of a cup that you didn't know what caste
Yeah.
was before you, but you were perfectly fine to drink it next to a person of a different caste. And I think that's one of the really interesting, and it's in Kerala in particular, that's really strong. You go and sit as a man and drink your tea with all kinds of people and read your newspaper. And that really starts to break down what in the South is an extremely virulent caste system.
Yeah, and so yeah, the tea did do a service, right? There's I think there's a whole study one can do about the impact of chai on the caste system, I would think, or
Yes,
just making, what a lot of other things couldn't. And it was also around the time when you had these reformist movements also, a lot of them coming out of West Bengal, the whole Arya Samaj, Brahma Samaj revival and so on. So I think the timing was perfect as well. And my father-in-law worked for a tea company, was a chairman. My mother-in-law, I think, as a young bride, went there. So she has all these, stories. And even now, so when I got married, they would serve tea with the whole paraphernalia, the matching this, the matching that, and the, handle of the teapot, like the staff had to discern, right, they should be for a right-handed person to pour it. And I couldn't have the tea. Like it was just for me so watered down. And I just went through weeks without having tea. And then when I walked in once into the kitchen and I saw that whole ginger and like the whole thing being boiled, and my husband's nanny was making some, and I said, "Oh God, you've got that tea. I want some." But yeah, but they still, my in-laws drink that. There's a whole ceremony around it, I would say, that they've retained, I think, thanks to the lifestyle on the tea gardens, and they appreciate it. It's also the highest grade of tea is used for that.
mm.
Whereas the low grain, I believe the bad tea is what's used for the kind that I have, which is
It's
boiled
kind
and
of the
sweetened.
sweepings from the floor that are used for
Yeah,
chai.
yeah, and it's associated with truck drivers who will stop at a spot and have a really hard cup, and so I'm always raising my hand up for the truck driver tea.
But builder's tea, really strong with the spoon standing up in it. But of course, the British, you always used to drink very, very sweet tea.
Yeah.
That was how you.
And there was also food and everything. I mean, even now, it's such a part of the British identity. You go to London, and one of the things you do as a tourist is go attend a tea service somewhere, right? Yeah.
Anybody, it's very rare now that anybody British actually does that.
Does that. But it's become so associated with the British identity, just like in the book, The Biscuit, you've talked about that association. The British at some stage decided what the British identity stood for, at least in the imperial context. So in India too, that's when they stopped serving a lot of the Indian, or at least patronizing a lot of the Indian food there, the way, and they dressed up for the meal and they ate British food, even if it came in tin cans, etc. It was about asserting, imperialism.
Yeah, but change. Yeah, they reject Indian culture. When they first arrive in India, they want to rule in
Yeah.
called an Indian idiom. They want to be rulers who suit India, who rule it appropriately. But then over time, as utilitarianism comes in, imperialism, evangelicalism, women come into India and so on, British women come into India. And it becomes more and more that they want to demonstrate their right to rule. And also, in 1857, the crown takes over. And so, yes, you have to demonstrate that you're a fine, upstanding, decent Englishman. So you wear your black suit and drink your tea. Well, not then, and then eat your bony fish and your bottled peas and so on as a demonstration of your Britishness. It's just become, I don't think they particularly like the food that they're eating.